Who's that Pokemon? I have no fucking idea. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, we are going to be talking about the new Pokemon Direct 2020 that just happened. That's right, we've begun our hype cycle of the year with a Nintendo Direct, and it was actually much different than I anticipated. If you guys remember, I did like a little thoughts video on what would go down, what could be announced at this Pokemon Direct, and it didn't fully go as expected. I did expect a remake, and we got that. And some DLCs for Sword and Shield, but there were other stuff I expected that didn't happen here. But let us cover the few things that happened. So, first of all, we started the presentation with the announcement of Pokemon Rescue Team Remake. I am so fucking happy about this. If you guys go and watch my live reaction, I lost my shit. That was a way to wake me up. I'm so happy, because again, the Mystery Dungeon games are a big part of my childhood. Like, I remember playing those on the Game Boy and DS, so to have that first one back is fucking awesome, and it's launching fairly soon. It's launching March 6th, so that's so close, and I can't believe it. I love the art style they're taking with it. It kind of reminds me of Winnie the Pooh, if you guys know what I mean, that sort of cel-shaded, like book kind of style, like color book kind of style. I really love the look of it, and again, I'm just happy to have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon back. I think also, it's what we see with a lot of games where they're remaking the first one, just so that we can kind of, is it the first one or the DS one? I think it's the first one. I'm not even sure about it. It's one of the two, because I know there's a Rescue Blue Team on DS. So whatever, either way, we're getting that, and I think the reason we're going back to the earliest one to remake is because they want to gauge interest, right? This is what they always do, these companies. They remake or re-release the first game just so they can see if people care about this franchise still, and that's definitely going to dictate if we get more of these in the future. So really happy about that, really happy that we're getting that. So then we moved on to the second and only other subject, so there was only two, other than Pokemon Home. I feel like I'll get that out of the way now. They announced that Pokemon Home will be launching in February, and that's kind of the service that's going to have, like, where you can transfer all your Pokemon together and stuff. So that's going down there. So then we had the big announcement of Pokemon expansion. So expansions for Pokemon Sword and Shield. It's called, one of them's called the Island of Armor, I think, and the other one's called the fucking Water Crusader. I don't know. There's two expansions. I don't fucking remember the names, but that is really big news because they essentially announced the death of the third versions of Pokemon games. They, in the Direct, they kind of directly jab at it, like announce it, kind of saying like, in the past we used to make a third version of the game that would add new stuff. Now we're just going to be doing expansion. So that alone I think is a really important part to talk about, because that's a big deal. I mean, again, and now that Pokemon is kind of a console game, obviously you have it in handheld form, I think it's time that they move on with the times, right, and adapt to modern days and do what they have to get more content in the game without making you replay the story and stuff. Because again, I'm personally, unless they did something like Black and White 2 where it was a sequel, I never really liked the fact that there was a third version of a game, like especially Ultra Sun and Ultra Shield, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. It's like, come on guys. So it's like, I love the idea that, hey, this is modern days now, we've adapted DLC as a media, so let us just do big expansions for the game. This way everybody wins. One, people won't be yelling all year that Game Freak is releasing another game and they have to deal with another hype cycle, right? When it comes to DLC, you are basically talking to the hardcore group of people that are still sticking around and playing your game. It's very rare that DLC, I mean, like, it depends. For like Call of Duty and stuff, yeah, a lot of DLC sells big. But for a lot of games, the DLC expansions are meant to keep the hardcore players that want an excuse to go back to that world. Because the average human being player just fucking moves on once they play the game, or they don't even beat a game. So this is really cool. Again, so we know two things. So we know that the two packs are going to take place in two different islands. One is more of like a tropical dojo kind of island. You're going to go to this dojo, you're going to meet fucking Captain Mustard or some shit, you're going to meet new trainers, there's going to be a new fucking legendary. But what's really cool about this one, and we've seen this happen before in Pokemon, where basically you're going to train him. So you're going to start with him, he's this little fucking cute little cub, and basically you're going to train him so that he actually can evolve and become his Gigantamax form or whatever. So he's really sick, and I love the idea of that region, right? Then we have another region which is like a more icy region, and we've kind of got a glimpse of that because I think there was an icy area in Sword and Shield, but whatever. I guess they're gonna take that, expand that a bit, and add some new story mounts. There's like you can see there's like a cool. It's more like, it feels like a snow expedition because of the outfits they're wearing in it and stuff like that. There's also a weird looking legendary. So alongside that, we got the announcement. Well, not the announcement, but like, we got a lot of concept art, right? So you saw there was concept art for, I believe, what's it called? Galarian versions of Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno. So that's going to be really cool. I couldn't tell because they looked really different. So I couldn't tell if they are a Galarian versions or if they are just brand new versions. I'm not sure. So we got those. We got a glimpse of Gigantamax, Blastoise, and Venusaur, right? So that's going to be really cool. We also got the announcement that there's going to be over 200 Pokemon returning to these expansions. So that's really awesome. And I think what's really important here is, even though they're locked behind the $30 DLC, if you have the DLC, you can still trade them to people who don't. So let's say you have a friend who's like, fuck me, I hate buying things. I don't want to buy anything. I bought the game. Leave me alone and never talk to me. But I fucking hate you for having a fucking Pokemon I like. Now that person could just trade that Pokemon. And obviously, we live in the age of the internet, right? It is so easy to go on Twitter, go on a forum, go on something and be like, hey, could you trade me this Pokemon? And most likely someone will give it to you. So really cool that they're doing that. Another thing they showed is that they're going to be having a co-op dungeon mode, which is how they're bringing back all the legendaries. They showed a bunch of pictures of all the legendaries in the game, and basically you're going to be able to go through this dungeon, maybe hunt some smaller Pokemon, and then you find the big legendaries. So that is really cool to me. Again, to me personally, and by the way, first expansion launches in June, next one launches in fall. To me personally, this is the best outcome, because this way, for the people that beat the game, they just have an excuse to go back and play with the Pokemon they have, catch some more Pokemon, right? And this way, they don't have to launch a third version. You still get more content, because again, like, I had my fill of the main game, right? I said this in that video where I predicted stuff, where I was like, I don't need a third version. I don't think I want to play that game again and experience that story again. So to have new areas, this is what I want. This is the future of Pokemon to me, right? I personally think it's better that we get a group of Pokemon in chunks, right? Because it would be really overwhelming to start a game now with, what, almost 900 Pokemon? So getting them in massive DLC bulks like that is really cool. I think this is a good path to the future. Now, there was a bit of confusion about the pricing model. People thought it was $30 per expansion. No, it is $30 total for both expansions, but if you want to buy it for Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, you have to pay $30 for each. So, let's say I just have a Pokemon, I have a copy of Pokemon Sword, I'm just paying $30. If you have a copy of Pokemon Shield, you're just paying $30. If you have a copy of both and you want to experience the DLC in both for some reason, then you're paying $60. But for the main part, it is $30. So that's to clear that confusion up. And again, I'm just really, personally, I'm happy because again, I really loved Pokemon Sword and Shield. It personally did a lot for me. I was really happy about it. I love the new Pokemon. I love the art style. I love the raids. So to have an excuse to just go back in that world, have a new area to explore, some new Pokemon, some new characters that we're going to meet and love throughout the way is going to be really cool, because also characters really stood out in Sword and Shield. So yeah, again, I'm really excited about this stuff. I think they did good, and I think this is ultimately better for the company, right? Because again, now they get to have a team that's working on just DLC expansions instead of having to deal with, we have to remarket an entire game for this year. So now they get to just do that while they work on whatever else project is in the background. Because that does mean technically this year is an off year for Pokemon, which is good. This is what we wanted. This is what people wanted. Again, it's not perfect. I know people are going to be mad, but that's just how it is, and that's okay. You can have your opinion. I can have mine. No shaming others for that stuff. But yeah, it's like, to me, this is just the best outcome they could do, and I think they weighed those options, right? I think they told themselves, okay, what can we do? We can't overwork ourselves, so let's not release another third version. Let's just do expansions. Again, plus you're modernizing, right? We live in a different era now where DLC is the standard, right? And I think that's okay, and I think it's going to be really exciting. Plus, we don't even know everything yet. Like, we don't know how long these expansions are. We don't know how many new stuff are in there. Like, we know some stuff, we don't know everything. So I think it's going to be really cool. The months to come are very exciting for Pokemon, and I'm happy we kicked off the year like this. So that's all I got. Let me know your thoughts, if you're excited for the expansions or Mystery Dungeon. I'm just fucking hyped for Mystery Dungeon, boys. And yeah, that's it. That's all. Thank you all for watching. Go watch a live reaction if you didn't, and I'll see y'all next time. I love you. Peace.